Hey guys, so I see my video is getting a lot of views and a lot of comments, and I just wanted to touch bases on what started the situation. I see people on both sides of the situation, but let me tell you what happened. So, riding the bus, and we stop at a stop. A guy gets on. The fare in Las Vegas is $2 for a one-way trip when you pay cash. The guy gets on the bus and pays $1. Okay, I understand. He sits down. The lady said, "Oh, we're not moving until he pays his fare." So he waited about 2 minutes, and the bus is quiet. Nobody's saying anything, just a bunch of growling and huffing and puffing. And eventually, 2 minutes later, he gets up and he walks and goes to pay the other dollar of the fare to get on the bus. And I guess while he was putting the money in, he said, "Here, bitch." I don't know if I'm able to say that, but that's what he said. He called her the B word. And she didn't say anything. She didn't get mad. She didn't say nothing. She, I guess, radioed into a supervisor or security or the authorities and didn't say anything. So maybe another 3 minutes had passed, and everybody's like, "Hey, are we leaving?" Da, da, da. And she said nothing. There was another passenger on the bus who said this is her normal activity. This is what she does. And because I guess he takes her out all the time or often. And she just sat there. She didn't say anything. She didn't say, "You need to get off my bus." She didn't say, "I'm not driving until he gets off." She said nothing. So after 3 minutes, the lady next to me called her job and said, "I'm on the way to work, but I'm running late. The bus has stopped and I'm not for sure when it's going to keep going, you know." So I wanted to speak up. It's not that I had to speak up. I wanted to speak up because it's not, yes, fare evasion is breaking the law. He paid his fare. She allowed him to pay his fare. But because she was in her emotions and in her feelings because he called her out her name, therefore she abused her authority, in my opinion, and stop the whole bus. Now, I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, she was right. And if she felt unsafe, she didn't have to move the bus." I understand. Like I told her, it was, I understand where she's coming from that she didn't have to be called out her name, but that is a person's right to say what they feel in a certain guideline. So, yes, the code of conduct, he violated the code of conduct by using profound language, and she didn't like that, so therefore she wanted to enforce the rules. Understandable. But the thing is, it's all based off your own discretion. You can decide to pull the bus over and do what you did, or you can decide to chalk it up because you are a public servant and it is not these other people's fault on the bus that he called her out her name. So everybody who's saying, "Oh, she felt unsafe and weapons and this and that. Oh, why aren't you speaking to him?" The thing is, so what are you guys saying? Work with more emotion. Confront this man who's on the side that we are on, not behind a partition, but in the public access areas that we are in. And you want us to what? Yell, scream, attack, get him and pull him off the bus so we can get to where we're going? That sounds crazy. He paid his fare. Yes, he said what he said. But the thing is, if every person works off emotion, especially government employees that work for the public, then and they stop their job, then where would we be? Off of every name call. I'm for sure a lot of you've been called out your name at your job, and it's unfortunate. But we have to stop working off emotion and follow the law. Like it's not even that, it to me it was not that serious. And like I said, there's two sides and everybody's on a different side, but to me, I was standing up for the people. It wasn't about the man who didn't pay his fare, or he paid his fare, but it wasn't about the man who called her out her name. and I understood where she was coming from, but you have a job to do, and now you're making 30 to 40 people, passengers on this bus, suffer because your feelings are hurt. And it's not even that. You can tell this lady abuses her power. You can tell not only have people commented randomly off of this TikTok, but people on that route who's taken her route before says this is common. This is what she does. So you're abusing your power. She even says in the video, go ahead and report me. Like she didn't care, you know? And I asked her, how long have you had this job? Long enough. So therefore, you've been called some names before. And no, you don't have to be abused. And then that's another thing, the verbally abused part, which I know you guys don't know the story until now. That's not verbal abuse. That's not harassment. He didn't threaten her with a weapon. He didn't do any of that. He paid his fare and said, here, B word. I'm not condoning it. I understand, but it's words. And you're going to stop and hold up these people. And that's why I spoke up, because I spoke up for the people. You want us to be mad at the name caller. You're like, oh, you're mad at the bus driver. I was mad for the people who did absolutely nothing to this lady, but wanted to get to work or continue on with their lives. So keep commenting down below. I just want to know. I think I more posted this just for reform, because people abuse their power. And I've noticed it's a lot on these buses here in Las Vegas. So tell me what you guys think below. I definitely want to keep the conversation going. I want to know both sides. I want to know how you guys feel. And you don't have to be so mean down there. Calm down. Calm down. It's okay. That's what's wrong with the world. It's okay to have a healthy debate. But until then, see ya.